In this class, we will try to modify this workflow which we had created in the previous class and add the human task create. As well as we will see how we can add the invoke API, that is to update the status in the table. So in our previous class, we had created this basic workflow, that is our very first workflow in Oracle Apex. Now Oracle has provided those activities whenever we create any workflow, that is by default, that is the start activity, end and the execute code. I have documented all the steps which we need to follow in order to add the human task action as well as the updating the database table in the Apex. Now you might ask, where is the database table and how to create the one? I will show you what is the database table I'm using and the procedure. This is the database table, that is HR leave request. It is basically having the request ID, employee ID, leave type code, all this information whichever we are capturing in the workflow as well as in the page in the future. Others, we are having the who columns and related to the workflow, like the workflow ID, task ID and other details. Suppose if you want to populate, you can populate over here. Coming to the specification for the package, I have created one package and we will try to use these procedures in the future. One is the update leave request. So this we will use now in order to update the status in the backend saying workflow has been started or pending. Then we are having the function which can generate us the delay. We will add the delay in case the approval has been rejected by the approver. In that case, we will wait for some time and then we will try to send a notification. Then we are having a leave approver. So this function is basically used in order to get the approver's username. Like first is the update leave request. This is a very simple procedure I have created whose job is just to update the status in the backend with the values whatever we are supplying from the workflow. Second is the delay function. It will delay by 1 minute. That is what it is returning. Coming to the third function, it is a very simple function as I told. If the renewal count is 0, then user will be 1. If renewal is 1, then user will be 2. So I will tell you what is this renewal and all shortly. Now this is the table and the specification for the package and the body which I have run in my database. And the same you can confirm by running in the SQL command object browser or in the SQL developer web. I have opened the SQL developer web and here is the HR leave request. This is my table and coming to the package, my package is over here. That is the HR leave workflow package and here we are having 3 procedures. Now with this set, we are going to drop our very first activity or we are going to rename the activity which Oracle has added by default. Now first we will try to rename this activity and we will try to name this as update request pending. In order to rename, we can use the properties on the right side. From the type, we can select the invoke API. From the package, we have to select the package which I have shown you just now. And in the procedure, we have to use the procedure that is to update the request. That is this one. Select this. Done. We have configured this activity as update request pending invoke API and we have selected this procedure. Then we have to map those details. First is the PID. PID we have to map with the request ID whatever we are getting in the input. Now you might ask, where is the parameters added which we are expecting our workflow to pass? That is, this procedure is accepting those many input parameters. If you see on the left side, as soon as we drop an activity and select the package procedure, here the properties will be visible. Click on this PID. From here, we can select on the list of values and select the parameters and I will select this PLeave request ID. So this is the first mapping I have done. Next is the status. I will mark the status as pending. That's over here. I will go for the static and the value I will give is pending. Coming to the workflow ID we can provide, that is by using this substitution string. I will go to the workflow ID and I'm going for the static value and the workflow ID. Click on save. Coming to the approval task ID, this I'm going to keep this API default. If you want to add the task ID, that will be visible in the next task when the approver is going to approve. Coming to the delivery action task ID, these are the placeholders. Coming to the approver, I'm going to put this as null. That's over here. Coming to the P decision date, if you want to put the decision date, we can pass the date parameter. I'm going to keep this as default. Now, if you're wondering from where I have got this Apex workflow ID, it is from the substitution string. In order to know what are the substitution strings you can use in the Apex, here is the documentation from the same. I'm in the official documentation for Apex. From the table of content, you can go for managing workflow and task, and from there you can find this workflow substitution string. I have made use of this, which is used to return the instance ID of the workflow at runtime. Suppose if you want to know when it was created, the activity ID, what was the primary key, so and so forth, we can have a look at this. So we have completed adding the invocation which can update the status in the table. Next, the most important thing is adding the human task create. So this is what this step is all about. I'm going to drop the human task action or the activity from here, or if you just hover over on the right side, you will get a plus symbol. Just click on this and select the human task create. Now we are going to delete this. Just select this and you can press the delete button on your keyboard, or you can just click on this context menu and delete. Just drop it like this. In order to make a connection, you can create a connection something like this from here, and we can select this and drop it onto the end. So this is one method how you can do. Other method is you can just select this new. From here you have to select on any activity. You will have the outgoing and the incoming. So two things are available over here. We have to select what is the incoming and the outgoing activity over here. I'm saying from it is this activity, its name is visible over here, and 2 will be to the new. Similarly, if you click on this arrow, it will show from where to where it has to go. That is from new to end. Suppose if you want to change, you can change from here. One method is manually you can drag the arrow and drop or touch to the activity from which you want to make the flow to go. Other method is you can set over here. Just click the connection and set from to. Coming to the new, I will give the name as approve request. Next, in the definition, we have to select the task definition. So task definition is one of the properties or the building blocks of any task. In order to configure the task, we need the task definition. So let's create the task definition. In order to create the task definition, we have to go to the shared components. I will leave this and we'll come back shortly. Go to the workflow and automation, click on the task definition, click on create. So for time being, I'm going to create a dummy task definition, that is with the name leave task definition. We are going to populate this in future, So this is just for creation purpose. I'm going to create. I will populate like this as of now, user1 and admin. Later we can modify this participants on the task definition level. Static ID, it will automatically populate. Coming to the priority we can set if you want this particular task to be of medium, high or urgent. I will click on create. So all these things we are going to see in the class number 5th or 6th. As of now, I will click on apply and we are going back to our workflow. That's over here. Click on the leave request. I will quickly try to add the human activity. Click on plus, human task create, and I'm going to delete this, rearrange. I'm going to create one connection and I'm going to tell this has to touch to end. The name of the human task action, I'm going to create this with this name. Coming to the definition, you will see the definition which we have created. Click on save. Next, coming to the variables, we will try to create few variables which can store the data, like approval task ID, that is to store the task. So whenever the human action is involved, the task will be assigned to the user. So every task is having its own task ID, the outcome, the approver name. We will try to create those variables. Whenever we drop the human task activity, it will automatically create those variables, approver and the task outcome. Now approver, we will try to touch this shortly. First, we will try to create this approval task ID variable. Right click over here and click on create. And this is our static ID. Coming to the label, I will give the label as this one. And this is of type number. Approver and task outcome are automatically created, but we will try to rename in order to make the naming convention same. That is task approver. Label, I will make this as task approver. Done. Next, I will try to rename this outcome, that is the task outcome which Oracle has created. This to task outcome, and this should be fine. and both the variables are of type varchar 2. We are going to click on this human activity. Here we have to map the data. If you see the properties for the human task create, task ID we have to map to the task ID which we created. It will be under the variables. That's over here, approver task ID. Details primary key. Primary key for our leave request is the request ID, that is for the leave coming from the parameters. Outcome we are going to assign to the variable, that is the task outcome. Owner we are going to map to the versions and the task approver. So these are the mappings I will be doing it over here, that is for the human task. Now coming to the deadline, suppose if any request is pending for your manager for approval, you can put the deadline, that is based on the interval, SQL query, expression, function body and the scheduler expression. We are going for the interval and this will be the value for our deadline. Let me just select this as an interval and this will be the value. Click on save. Next, we have to create a timeout and then we can make the workflow end. What it means is, whenever you drop any connection, its job is not only to link to another activity. Suppose I will create one connection over here, create a connection and I will make this to flow over here. Here in the type, it is asking error or timeout. I'm saying it has to timeout, and what I will do is I will put the workflow end over here. I will name this as timeout end 1. So this is the name. After waiting for some deadline, that is over here, that is for 14 days, 2 weeks, it has to timeout. If it is timeout, what the flow it has to take, we have to configure. For learning purpose, I'm going to make this to end. But in your case, you can fire a notification or make the workflow call another workflow or do some error handling or notify the requester that it got lapsed or so on and so forth. You can do as per the business requirement. So this is how you can create the timeouts based on the deadline. Next, we have to update the outcome of the task in the table. Approver could be clicking on approve or rejected, and the same status has to be captured in the database. Now, how we are going to do is we are going to add one more activity which is going to call the same procedure, that is this one, and capture the task outcome. In order to speed up the process, what we can do is we can just click on this context menu and we can tell duplicate. So this is going to create the duplicate over here. Let me delete this. Also, I will delete this link or the connection. I will drop this end over here and I'm going to create one connection and I will tell this has to link to the update request pending, this one. Let me rename this update approval outcome. Now creating a duplicate of any activity will save the time because we have to again spend time configuring all these things. So these things we can avoid. Now here there is the end activity. This we will update shortly. Now click on this and everything looks fine. Only we have to map the status over here, that is with the V task outcome. Just select this and go to the activity, that is the parameter under the status. This time what we have to do is go for the item and select the variable, that is the V task outcome. Because V task outcome will store the value over here based on the outcome whatever approver has clicked, whether the approver has selected the approved or rejected. How to configure this approve reject, that is the action or approval task? This we have to configure in the task definition. This we will see later. Before we activate our workflow, we will create the task definition. We will complete this task definition and we will try to call from Apex. So this we will see shortly how we can configure the same. Once we have updated these details, next thing is we have to check whether the approver has clicked approve button or reject. So this we can check with the help of the switch action. What I will do is I will add a switch action. One more method how we can drag the activities, just drag from the activities palette and drop it like this. Now I'm going to create a connection and I'm telling this it has to go to the new, that's this one. And this switch action, I'm going to name this as if approved. Now this connection looks ugly. We can select this and make orthogonal. So this is going to create the orthogonal line, something like this. This looks neat and clean. So this is how we can make use of connection to look direct, that is straight or orthogonal. Here I am saying if approved, it has to check. Also I will create one more connection which is going to touch this end action. Let me drop it over here and connection I will tell this has to go to end. In the approved, it is asking for the condition. Now when we add any switch condition, we have to define some condition based on which the outcome has to flow. Like if we are checking the outcome, then it has to validate whether the outcome was approved or rejected. In case of approval task, only two actions will be there, approve or rejected, unless you customize it. Now here what I will do is, I will go for the comparing the variable. That's over here. In the type, we have to go for check workflow variable. From here, we have to select the variable, that is the task outcome. Next, what we have to do is, in the create connection, we have to tell operator is equal to, and the value, what we should do is, we have to select the value as approved. And I will tell, in case of approved, we have to make the flow go to the end. Done. So this is one flow. Here we can name this as approved. Similar like this, we have to create one more connection. So this also we have to check the value, that is, I will name this as rejected, and I will check the condition whether this is rejected. Now we will tell from where it is going to check the value. Click on the activity switch. Again, I will show you. We had selected the type as check workflow variable. So this is what we have mentioned over here. It is going to check the variable, that is the task outcome. Now task outcome we have configured over here in the human task create. In this variable, it will store whether approver has clicked on approved or rejected. Now in case of rejected, what I will tell is, I want this to end. This is just for simplicity purpose, so that we can save the workflow. This completes this class wherein we added the human task action, and also we had seen how we can add the timeout deadline for a task. Also we had seen how we can get the task outcome and the status, update to the database and check with the condition. In next class, we will configure this path, that is, in case of approved, what the action has to do, and in case of rejected, what it has to do.